I want you to pause for a moment. Close your eyes if you can. Breathe deeply. Now ask yourself, what if everything you think you know about God is only the surface of a vast ocean? What if the top 1%, those who seem to hold the keys to wealth, power, and influence, know secrets about the divine that they deliberately keep hidden from the rest of us? And why would they hide it? Think about that as we dive into this journey together. You see, the elite understand something profound. God is not just an external being to be worshipped, but the ultimate force woven into the very fabric of existence. They know that God is not out there, sitting in the heavens, watching us from a distance. No, God is here. God is within. God is the infinite potential that resides in you, in me, in everything. But here's the twist. They don't want you to know that. Why? Because when you truly understand this, you become free. Free from fear, free from manipulation, free from the systems they've built to control you. You see, the elite thrive on the illusion of separation. They want you to believe that you are small, powerless, and dependent on them for guidance, wealth, and meaning. But when you awaken to the truth, you become something far more powerful than they could ever control. So, what is this truth? It begins with a simple yet profound realization. You are not separate from God. You are an expression of the divine itself. This is not just a poetic statement. It's a literal, energetic truth. Every cell in your body vibrates with the same creative force that birthed the cosmos. The elite know this, and they use this knowledge to manifest their desires, shape reality, and bend the universe to their will. But they obscure this truth with distractions, dogmas, and divisions that keep us blind to our own divine potential. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt a moment of pure clarity, where time seemed to stop, and you felt connected to something greater than yourself? Maybe it was during a sunset, a moment of silence, or even in the midst of chaos. That feeling, however fleeting it may have been, is a glimpse of the truth. The elite know how to cultivate that connection at will. They've mastered the art of aligning with the divine, and they use it to create their reality. But they don't want you to know that you can do the same. Here's where it gets practical. The first secret they don't want you to know is this: your thoughts are prayers. Every thought you think, every belief you hold, every emotion you feel is a signal you send out into the universe. And the universe, God's infinite creative force, responds to that signal. The elite understand this on a deep level. They guard their thoughts, their words, their emotions like treasures, because they know that what they focus on becomes their reality. But most of us were never taught this. We let our minds run wild with fear, doubt, and negativity, unwittingly creating a reality that reflects those chaotic vibrations. Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons. So, how do you reclaim this power? It starts with awareness. Become the master of your mind. Observe your thoughts without judgment. Notice the patterns that arise. Are your thoughts aligned with love, abundance, and faith? Or are they rooted in fear, lack, and limitation? The elite practice this awareness daily, often through techniques like meditation, visualization, and affirmations. These aren't just trendy wellness practices. They're tools for aligning with the divine and shaping reality. But here's the second secret. True power comes not from controlling others, but from surrendering to the flow of the divine. This is where the elite often falter. Many of them use their knowledge to manipulate and dominate, but in doing so, they disconnect from the deeper truth that God's power is not something to be wielded, it's something to be channeled. When you surrender your ego, your need to control, and your attachment to outcomes, You align with the infinite intelligence of the universe. And in that alignment, miracles happen. Let me ask you again, what would your life look like if you fully trusted the divine within you? What would you dare to create, to become, to experience? The elite don't want you to ask these questions because the answers would set you free. But there's one more layer to this. The top 1% also understand the power of collective energy. They know that when a group of people come together with a shared intention, their combined energy can create profound shifts in reality. This is why they form exclusive circles, secret societies, and elite networks. They amplify each other's energy to manifest their shared vision. But here's the thing, they don't have a monopoly on this power. You and I can do the same. When we come together in love, unity, and shared purpose, we tap into a force far greater than any individual. This is the true power of community, the power they fear most. So, I'll leave you with this question for now. What would happen if you fully embraced your divine potential and joined forces with others who are doing the same? Imagine the world we could create. Imagine the systems we could dismantle. Imagine the freedom, the abundance, the peace that would become our reality. Power. It's a word that carries weight, isn't it? People chase it, fear it, hoard it, and even fight wars over it. But the greatest power, the one that has shaped civilizations and moves mountains, doesn't come from wealth, armies, or influence. It comes from understanding the truth about who you are. And here's the thing, the elite know this, but they've built an entire world to make sure you don't. Let's talk about the blueprint. Every single human being has a unique imprint, a divine pattern encoded into their very being. It's like a fingerprint of the soul. This blueprint is your access point to infinite power, but most people never unlock it. Why? Because society trains us to look outward, to follow the rules, to fit in. We're taught to ignore the subtle whispers of intuition, the inner knowing that guides us toward our highest potential. But the elite, they don't ignore it. They follow it with precision. Here's the truth they don't want you to know. You are born with all the tools you need to access this blueprint. It's not something you have to earn, buy, or beg for. It's already there, waiting for you to use it. The problem is, most people are so distracted by noise, social media, consumerism, fear-based news, that they never stop to access it. The elite, on the other hand, have mastered the art of silence. They understand that stillness isn't just peaceful, it's powerful. In the silence, you can hear the voice of the divine within you, guiding you to your purpose. Let's break this down. Your blueprint is activated through alignment. And by alignment, I mean living in harmony with the truth of who you are. But how do you find that truth when the world is constantly trying to define it for you? It starts with listening, not to the external noise, but to the subtle, internal signals that most people overlook. The elite have systems for this. They call it intuition training, energy mastery, or even secret rituals. But the truth is, it's not secret, it's simple. When you quiet your mind and pay attention to your inner world, you start to notice patterns. Those patterns are the breadcrumbs leading you to your divine design. Here's where it gets interesting. The elite understand that your blueprint isn't just about you. It's about your connection to everything else. Think about it. Why does a single drop of water reflect the entire ocean? Why does a tree grow toward the light without being told to? It's because everything in existence is connected by an invisible thread of intelligence. This is the divine operating system, and your blueprint is your unique access point to it. But instead of teaching us this, The systems we live in train us to believe we're separate, isolated, and powerless. That's the greatest lie of all. Now, let's get practical. The elite don't just sit around meditating on this stuff, they use it. They understand that thought, emotion, and action are the three pillars of creation. If you want to unlock your divine blueprint, you have to master these three. First, your thoughts. Every thought you think is like a seed planted in the soil of your mind. The elite know this, which is why they guard their mental focus like a treasure. They don't waste energy on doubt or negativity because they know those seeds will grow into weeds that choke their potential. Then there's emotion. Emotion is the water that nourishes those seeds. Have you noticed how the most powerful people are often masters of emotional control? It's not an accident. They know that energy flows where emotion goes. If you're constantly feeding your mind with fear, anger, or despair, that's the reality you're creating. But when you cultivate emotions like gratitude, love, and determination, you align your energy with the divine's creative force. Finally, there's action. This is where most people get stuck. They think that action is just about doing more, hustling harder, grinding until they burn out. But the elite understand that true action is inspired. It's not about forcing outcomes. It's about moving in sync with the rhythm of the universe. When your thoughts and emotions are aligned with your blueprint, the right actions flow naturally. You don't have to push. You're pulled by a force greater than yourself. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room. Why doesn't everyone do this? Why don't we all live in alignment with our divine blueprint? The answer is simple: fear. Fear is the weapon that keeps people small. The elite use it intentionally. They create fear through scarcity, through division, through narratives that make you doubt yourself and your place in the world. Because the moment you truly understand your power, you become unstoppable, and that terrifies them. But here's the thing about fear. It's an illusion. It only has power if you feed it. The elite know this, which is why they face their fears head-on. They understand that fear is just a signal pointing to where growth is possible. When you stop running from fear and start using it as a guide, you unlock a level of strength that most people can't even imagine. So let me ask you something. If fear wasn't holding you back, what would you do differently? What dreams would you pursue? What risks would you take? What kind of life would you create? The elite don't just ask these questions, they live them. And that's why they seem untouchable. But they're not. They're just people who've learned how to access their blueprint and align with the divine. And here's the final secret for this part. The elite don't operate alone. They understand that power is amplified in connection. This is why they form exclusive groups, secret societies, and networks that support each other's goals. But here's the catch. They're not the only ones who can do this. You don't need a secret society to amplify your power. You just need people who share your vision, your energy, your commitment to living in alignment. When two or more people come together with a shared intention, their energy doesn't just add, it multiplies. This is the true power of community, and it's something the elite don't want you to understand. So, what's stopping you? What's holding you back from unlocking your blueprint, mastering your thoughts, emotions, and actions, and connecting with others who can amplify your power? The answer is nothing except the limits you've been taught to believe in. And those limits? They're not real. Let's cut through the noise. There's a universal pattern that governs life. Call it the divine equation, the cosmic law, or God's blueprint. It doesn't matter. What matters is that it works, whether you know about it or not. The top 1% don't just know about it, they use it, they align with it. and they've mastered how to manipulate it for their benefit while keeping the rest of the world distracted. But here's the kicker. The equation doesn't belong to them. It belongs to everyone. The only difference is they've paid attention to how it operates, and most of us haven't. The divine equation is simple. Energy expands where focus flows. The elite understand this as the foundation of all creation. Every thought, every choice, every intention sends ripples through the universe. These ripples don't just vanish, they return as waves, shaping reality. When you grasp this, you realize something profound. Your life isn't happening to you, it's responding to you. This is the secret behind manifestation, miracles, and why some people seem to have the Midas touch, while others struggle endlessly. Let's break it down. The first variable in the equation is intention. Intention isn't just a wish or a vague hope. It's a clear, focused decision about what you want to create. The elite don't leave their intentions to chance. They define them with precision. They know that a scattered mind creates scattered results. If your energy is divided between fear, doubt, and conflicting desires, the universe doesn't know what to reflect back to you. But when your intention is sharp, it acts like a laser, cutting through the clutter and aligning reality with your focus. The next variable is belief. The most powerful people in the world don't just desire, they know. They operate with a level of certainty that most people mistake for arrogance. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. They understand that belief is the fuel that powers intention. If you declare what you want but secretly doubt it's possible, you're sending mixed signals to the universe. And mixed signals create chaos. The elite know this, which is why they guard their beliefs so fiercely. They don't entertain doubt. They don't allow limiting thoughts to take root. They cultivate their minds like sacred gardens, planting only what they want to see grow. Here's where most people get stuck. They think belief is about convincing themselves of something that feels false. It's not. Belief is about removing the lies you've been taught. You don't have to force yourself to believe you're powerful. You already are. You just have to stop believing in the illusion of powerlessness. The elite understand this, which is why they invest so much effort into shaping the narratives we consume. They flood the world with messages that reinforce fear, scarcity, and dependence because they know that a person who doubts their own power is easy to control. The third variable in the equation is action, but not just any action, aligned action. The elite understand that doing more doesn't necessarily mean achieving more. They don't waste energy on meaningless tasks or busy work. They focus on actions that align with their intentions and beliefs. When all three variables, intention, belief, and action, are in harmony, the results are inevitable. The universe has no choice but to respond. But there's one more piece to the equation that most people overlook: surrender. This is where the elite often fall short because surrender requires humility, and ego hates humility. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. It means trusting the process. It means releasing the need to control every detail and allowing the divine intelligence of the universe to do its part. The elite understand the mechanics of creation, but they often miss this spiritual truth. The universe is infinitely wiser than any human mind. When you align with the divine equation and surrender the how, you open the door to miracles. Let's get real for a moment. If the universe is always responding to our energy, why do so many people feel stuck? Why does it seem like the elite have a monopoly on success and fulfillment? The answer lies in resistance. Resistance is the invisible force that blocks the flow of energy. It shows up as fear, doubt, procrastination, and self-sabotage. The elite have learned to identify and eliminate resistance. They don't ignore their fears. They confront them. They don't let doubts linger. They replace them with empowering beliefs. They don't wait for the right time. They act in the present moment. And here's the truth they don't want you to know. Resistance isn't something external, it's internal. It's the voice in your head that says, "You're not good enough, you're not ready," or "What if you fail?" That voice isn't yours. It's a program installed by the systems that profit from your insecurity. The elite know this, which is why they've trained themselves to silence that voice. But you can do the same. You don't need their privilege, their resources, or their networks. You just need the courage to recognize resistance for what it is, a lie, and move through it. This brings us to the final, unspoken truth about the divine equation. It's not about getting what you want. It's about becoming who you're meant to be. The elite often use their knowledge of the equation for selfish gain, but the highest purpose of this power is transformation. When you align your energy with the divine, you don't just create a better life, you become a better version of yourself. And that version of you? It's unstoppable, it's fearless, it's limitless. That's what scares the elite the most. They don't fear losing their money or influence. They fear what happens when enough people wake up to their own power. Because the truth is, the divine equation isn't exclusive. It's universal. It's in you, me, and everyone else. And when enough people align with it, the systems of control collapse. The illusions of scarcity and separation dissolve. The world changes, not through force, but through resonance. So here's the final question. What are you going to do with this knowledge? Will you keep living by the rules they've set, or will you align with the truth of who you are? The choice isn't theirs, it's yours. And once you make it, everything changes. Let's talk about control. Every system you see around you, governments, corporations, media, education, has been designed to shape the way you think, what you believe, and how you live. This isn't conspiracy theory, it's fact. Control isn't always about force. It's about influence. The elite don't need to chain your hands if they've already convinced you to stay in the cage willingly. And one of the most effective tools for this is distorting the truth about God. The greatest illusion ever created is the idea that divinity is separate from you. That God is an external entity, somewhere out there, watching, judging, rewarding, or punishing. This belief keeps people small. It makes them dependent on intermediaries, priests, institutions, ideologies, to access something that has been within them all along. The elite understand that the moment you realize you're not separate from God, you become uncontrollable. You stop looking to them for permission or validation, and that terrifies them. So why is this truth so powerful? Because when you truly understand it, you stop living in fear. Fear is the foundation of every system of control. Fear of failure, fear of scarcity, fear of rejection, fear of death. If you believe you are separate from God, these fears seem inescapable. But when you know that the same creative force that shaped the universe flows through you, fear loses its grip. You begin to see challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth. You stop clinging to the illusion of security because you realize you're already infinite. Here's how the elite use this against you. They create structures that keep you constantly striving, never arriving. Religions that promise salvation but only if you follow their rules. Economies that dangle wealth just out of reach, making you believe you're not enough until you achieve more. Cultures that glorify external success while ignoring inner fulfillment. These systems are designed to keep you chasing something outside yourself, because the moment you turn inward, the game is over. They lose their leverage. Let's get deeper into this idea of separation. Look at the language we've been taught. God is above. You must pray to God. Fear God. These phrases all reinforce the idea that God is something you must reach for, something distant and external. But the elite know another truth. They know that God is not above, but within. They know that prayer is not about asking, but aligning. They know that fear is the opposite of what God represents. If this truth became common knowledge, the world would change overnight. Imagine if people stopped fearing lack because they realized abundance is their birthright. Imagine if they stopped fearing judgment because they understood they are already whole. Imagine if they stopped fearing death because they recognized that life is eternal and the soul is indestructible. The systems that rely on fear would crumble, and the power the elite have accumulated would become meaningless. Now, let's talk about faith, not blind faith in an institution, but unshakable faith in the divine within you. Faith is the antidote to fear. It's not about believing in something you can't see. It's about knowing something so deeply that external circumstances can't shake it. The elite operate with this kind of faith, but they've twisted its purpose. They use it to serve their egos, to accumulate more power, to control. But real faith isn't about control, it's about trust. Trust in the flow of life. Trust in the intelligence of the universe. Trust in your own divine essence. There's a reason why the elite work so hard to keep people distracted. It's because distraction keeps you disconnected. Every time you lose yourself in meaningless entertainment, every time you let fear-based media dictate your thoughts, every time you chase material success at the expense of your inner peace, you drift further from the truth. The elite know this, which is why they flood the world with noise. But silence? Silence is where the truth lives. And when you access that silence, you become unstoppable. Here's something practical to think about. Every time you react to fear, you're feeding the systems of control. But every time you act from love, you disrupt them. Love is the one force they can't control. It's unpredictable, it's expansive, and it transcends the boundaries they've worked so hard to create. Love isn't just an emotion, it's the vibration of the divine. When you live from that place, you align with the most powerful force in existence. And the elite, no matter how much wealth or influence they accumulate, cannot touch it. Now let's address something that often gets misunderstood: power. True power doesn't come from controlling others, it comes from mastering yourself. The elite appear powerful because they control external systems, but internally, many of them are ruled by fear. They fear losing their status, their wealth, their influence. They fear the awakening of the masses. But when you align with the divine, you don't need external validation. Your power isn't dependent on circumstances or opinions. It comes from within, and it can't be taken away. Think about the implications of this. If every person on this planet realized their own divine nature, the systems of control would dissolve. Governments would have to serve rather than dominate. Economies would prioritize well-being over profit. Education would focus on awakening potential rather than conformity. This isn't just a utopian dream. It's what the elite are desperately trying to prevent. Because when you wake up, their game is over. So, what's the takeaway? The truth about God isn't just a spiritual concept, it's a revolutionary act. When you remember who you are, you become the kind of person the elite fear most. Someone who can't be manipulated. Someone who doesn't need their systems. Someone who creates their own reality. This is the ultimate power, and it's already within you. They've spent centuries trying to hide it, but the truth has a way of surfacing. And once you see it, You can't unsee it. The question isn't whether you're capable of accessing this power. You already have it. The real question is, what will you do with it? Will you keep playing by their rules, or will you create your own? The answer doesn't just change your life, it changes the world.